Hi and welcome to another edition of What's in the Box. I'm Paul Sillers of Firewalls for Now and Firewall.news. Today we're going to be looking at the Sophos XG 125. Again, for those people who followed this is not a technical review, this is what you get in the box. The cables, what the unit initially looks at. So let's just get right into this. We're just going to break open the seal, just so you know, this is the box first. Good sized box. I'm just going to break open the seal here. Let's just open this up so you can see a first look of what you get in there. So we have a power cable IEC to your connection. In this instance it's an Australian plug, so you will have in there a power cable for your region. You then have the power adapter itself, the power supply. We'll actually have a look at that in a moment. You have probably a 2-meter console cable. Again, have a look and a few more comments about that in a little bit. And 4 feet, plastic feet to fit onto the bottom of the box if you're not going to stick in a rack. Now this unit is a small form factor desktop unit, so it isn't rack mountable immediately, but there is a rack mount kit. You can see a review that we've done on those elsewhere. So we're just going to take this out of its packing. I'll just pop that down for a moment. You do get a couple of extra things in the box. You get the quick start guide, and that's probably about a 1 meter cable, patch cable. So let me just pop the box down and out of the way, and we'll actually have a look at the unit itself. So again, we're just going to take across the factory seal on there. Let's open this up. So this is a small form factor PC essentially. I'll give you an example here on the front. So it's important to note that the hardware for the Sophos XG and SG series is exactly the same. It is the operating system that sits on them that is different. So on the SG you're running UTM, what is currently 9.4, and on the XG you're running the new Sophos Firewall OS, soon to be called version 16. This is being recorded in July 2016, and there may be a half-point release later on in the year. So this is the unit. So you've got all the indicator status lights up here, current hard disk activities, because these do have onboard storage, so it can do, depending on the services that you've bought with it, it can do quarantine email. It keeps all its logs on the box and everything else. So then to the back. Now this and the wireless unit are exactly the same. What you can see is these lugs here. This is where the paddles would be, or the connectors for the paddles would be. They're external paddles if you've got the wireless version of this. This is a metal case, there's no internal antenna in there. So you've got, looking along here, you've got the network ports, so you'll see that you've got 8 in total. A console port along here and 2 USB ports. Now it is a small form factor. You can actually plug a USB keyboard in. It's got a, you'll see in the middle, it's got a monitor output as well. So you can do a limited amount of config directly onto the box itself without being able to access it over the internet at all. Again, with these functional ports, so you can bridge them to make a small network switch. You can have multiple WANs, multiple LANs, multiple DMZs. So a pretty versatile box. Like I said, doesn't fit in the rack, but is fairly versatile. Now something very interesting on here, it has a very, very small power on and off switch. This has caught me out a few times. It is a very soft touch. When you do plug the power in, you just need to sometimes, especially if having to reach in the back of a rack or a comms rack at all, be aware it's a very gentle on and off. We'll show you just a little bit now on the power pack. We did talk about the console cable. Now hopefully you realise what that's for. So similar to Cisco and other manufacturers, you can use it to do the config over the console cable. Power pack again, standard IEC connector that you'll see from most of the manufacturers at the moment in time. Probably about a 1 meter power cable wrapped up there. It does have a standard input cable. Slightly different to some of the other manufacturers that have clips on these. This has a really nice screw-in functionality. So if you can see, if we just plug that in, we can actually screw this in tight. The cable won't actually come out now. So this is really great. If you're actually just putting this on a shelf in a comms rack, you can know once it's done up, when you have to bring it forward or push it back, that it's actually not going to come loose in there. So really, that's a very quick look at what you get in the box. Just give you a final last look. That's the XG 125. The hardware is exactly the same. So if you purchase an SG, it would look exactly the same front and back. It's just the operating system on it that's slightly different. So hopefully that gives you a good start to have a look at what's in the box. The Sophos XG 125.